Hey, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing good. This is one of the most asked interview question. So the question is, what is the execution order of the SQL query? A lot of people think that in any SQL query that we write, we 90% of the time we start with the select clause, and we feel that select clause is the first one which executes in the query that we have written. But that's absolutely incorrect. So this is the correct order of the SQL execution. So the SQL execution engine, when the query completed, it starts executing the query with the from class. So it will first execute the from class, and the from clause also includes the joins. So typically joins are when we are referring to more than one source table, we have to join both the tables. After the joins are executed, then the where clause will execute. Where clause basically filters the data on the row level. After the where clause, it groups the records present in the table. After the grouping, the having clause, again having is used to filter the records, but it filters records on the basis of the group by. After the having clause, then the select clause will come into action and it will start executing the select clause. Whatever the columns that present in select clause will be executed. If we want to extract only the distinct records, the distinct keyword will be executed. Also, if we have any window functions present inside the select clause, the window functions will execute. After the window functions, then if you are trying to output that the records in any order, then the order by clause will execute. After the order by, finally the limit clause will execute to offset the records to certain limit. So this is the general execution order of the SQL query, but this is a theoretical explanation, but let's see how can we solve this in practical. For the practical purpose, I created two tables. The two tables are employees and orders. I will show the records present in both these tables. I will basically do select everything from employees. Now, when I run this query, you see, right, the employee table has five different fields. One is employee ID, which is the ID of the employee, employee name, the department of the employee, and the salary of the employee, the order ID. So, this is the order ID of this employee. Now, I also have another table which is known as orders. Select everything from orders. I will show the sample data of these two. When I click on select everything from orders, so order table has two different columns. One is order ID and the amount of that particular order. So again, we have eight different orders. My God, I've done the mistake. Let's do one thing. Let's drop this table. Drop table orders. I will drop this table. Now what I will do is here basically the order IDs that we have given over here are 10, 20, 30, 40, 40, but I've taken them as here uh, 1, 2 like that. So I will do 10, then 20, then 30, then 40, then 60, then 70, then 80. Now what I will do is again I will create the table orders. It should be created. Now I will insert these records into that table. Correct. Now I will remove this line and will execute this. If you see over here, we have two different columns which are order ID and the amount. So order ID is the ID of that order. So the order IDs of different records are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. And also we have the corresponding amount for each of the order present. Now, so now if I go back to the notepad, you can see, right? So first it will start executing from the from class. Now let's say I'm interested in joining these two tables. I want to join both the employees and orders. It's obvious, right? Whenever we want to join both the tables, we have to find that one common column across both the tables, which can be used as a primary key in one table and as a foreign key in another table, so that we could join both the tables. Now, if you look at both the tables, the employee table and the order table, see, the employee table has employee ID, employee name, department, salary, order ID, and order table has order ID and the amount. So the common column across both the tables is order ID. So to get the information from both these tables, I will have to join these tables based on the common column. What I will do is select employees, select employees dot star. So whenever I write employees dot star, it basically indicates I want to have all the fields coming from the employees table. Now, comma, and I also want all the fields from the orders table. What I will do is employees dot asterisk comma orders dot asterisk from employees, join. So join here indicates the typical inner join. I want to join with the orders table. So whenever we are joining two tables, there should be one matching column across both the tables. So the matching column is on employees dot order id equals to orders dot order id. Now when I execute this query, select employees dot com orders dot everything from employees on orders on employees dot order id on orders dot order id. What is the okay, so this is wrong here. It's employees. Okay. Now, when I execute this query, you could see, right? Now the output has seven different columns. So five columns from the employee table and two columns from the orders table. So we have employee ID, employee name, department, salary, order ID. Again, order ID from this order ID is from the order table. This order ID is from the employee table amount. Now we could see we have order ID which is coming duplicated. Instead of selecting all the columns from order table, what I generally do is I will only select the amount column. Now I will remove that asterisk and I will write the amount. Now when I execute this query, previously you have seen order id present two times, but now if you see, it has come only one time. So now we have all the columns coming from the employee table, and we also have the amount column coming from the orders table. Now just to explain, right? uh, Here we have all these things. Now when you look at this query, the execution does not start from select, because as we have written select in the first place, it does not mean the query starts its execution from the select clause. Instead, it starts from the from clause. Now, the from clause will see what are all the source tables. The source tables are the tables which we are referring to. Now, if you see, we have two source tables. One is employees and other one is orders. Now it will extract both those tables, the employees and orders. We also, after the extracting both those tables, we talked about the join. Now if you go back to the notepad, after the from, the joins will happen. So the idea of join is to get the information from more than one table. Now if I only use the keyword join, it means that I'm performing an inner join. Inner join is basically extracts the common records from both the tables. I'm joining employees tables with the orders table. Now when I join these two tables, to join these two tables, I should have one common column. The common column is order ID. When I run this entire query, this query basically creates one common output table which we could see over here. Now what I will do is, for the demonstration purpose, I will wrap up this entire thing into one CTE. Let's call this as with CTE1 as CTE generally stands for common table expression. Common table expressions in any of the database management system tools are the temporary objects which are used to store information. Now this before we have two tables. What are those two tables? Employees and the orders. But now we only have one table, which is the CT1. The name of the table is CT1. After the execution of from and join and on class, now if you see, if we go back to the notepad, it started from class, then it has joins in it. Then as we don't have any where class in the previous query, it did not go to here, and also group by it. And finally it executed the select statement. If you see here, we have the select statement, then it executed the select statement. Now what I will do is, I will create one more CTE which is known as CTE2. As inside this CTE2, what I will do is, Now I have this one table instead of two tables. I only have one common table, which is this one. Now here I will select everything. When I say asterisk, it means I'm typically extracting all the columns from the common table expression 1. Select everything from CTE1. Now I don't think so we have to refer employees and orders, because we grouped that employees and orders into one common table, which is CTE. Select everything from CTE, where I'm only interested in getting those records whose salary is greater than 60,000. Let's say whose salary is greater than 60,000. I will close this CTE. Now select everything from CTE to. Now when I execute this whole thing, you can see, right, again we could see that the output coming as one single table, but instead of coming all, like instead of all the records, we could see we are only filtering out those records whose salary is greater than 60,000. Now if you look at here, each we will only be able to see those employees whose salary is greater than 60,000. So this is 75,000, which is again greater than 60,000. 65,000 is greater than 60,000. 85,000, 80,000, 72,000, 78,000, 68,000, 71,000, like that, right? So you could also change the condition and keep it as 70,000. And now when you execute this one, you will see all those records which are in 60,000 boundaries will now be wiped off. Instead of that, we will only see those records whose salary is greater than 70,000, 75,000, 85,000, 80,000, 72,000, 78,000, 71,000. Now, before I demonstrated the execution order of the select, from, and then join, right? Now, if you see here, in this CTE2, we have select everything from CTE1. Again, this from class will execute first because it has to refer to the source table. After this CTE1, as we don't have any joins and on conditions, it will go to the where clause. The where clause is used to filter records based on the row level. Now it filters all those records whose salary is greater than 70,000, and it will only include those records whose actual salary is greater than 70,000. Now the select clause will execute, and it will include all the columns, because asterisk typically indicates all the columns. Now this is again one table which is whose name is CTE2. Now when I run this entire query, again I have one common table, and this table has only those records whose salary is greater than 70,000. Now I explained you the execution order of the from clause, then the joins, and then where. Now let's see, after these execution, it will move on to group by and having. Now if I go to group by, now I will remove this one. I will again create one more city which is known as city3. As what I will do is city3 as inside this select. Okay, I will what I will do is I will select department. What we Instead of selecting department, select department, and what I will do, select department, and I will also create one more field which is known as average of salary. I will alias it as average salary. Now from city to, then I will group by department. Okay, group by department. Now when I run this entire thing, what I will do is let's do select everything from CTE3. Now if I start executing this entire query, see the output is compressed. In CTE3, what I'm trying to do is, again, it will start executing from this from clause. The source table is CTE2. Then it will not go to select. It will go to the group by, because if you look at here, after the from, if there are no joins or where class, it should go to the group by. Now it goes to the group by class. It So grouping is basically bringing all those common records into one group. When I say group by department, it groups all the records based on the department. So in our table, in our the first primary source table, we have three different departments: IT, finance, and the marketing. Now what it will do is it will group all those records based on this department, and it will extract the average salary of the each department. If you see over here, right, we have the IT department whose average salary is 77,500. Okay. And we have finance department whose average salary is 81,500. We have marketing department whose average salary is 71,500. If you are wondering how did we get this output, I will clearly explain one more time. Let's do here. What I will do is select everything from CT1. I'll do this one and we'll run this thing. Now, if you see here, right, see, this is the first table that we have. If you see here, we have IT, and let's group it by, now if you look at finance department has two records. What are those two records? 85,000 and 78,000. Now to calculate average salary, we have to first sum up all those salaries under the finance department. So 85,000 plus 78,000 is typically 1,63,000. When we say average, we will have to divide it by the number of records present in that group. So the finance group has two records. So 1,63,000 divided by 2 is basically 81,500. Now this is what happening. Now when I'm executing select everything from CTE3 for finance department, you could see that the output is 81,500. That is the average salary. The similar thing will happen for IT department, also marketing department. Now let's say we have used group by. Now after group by, we can use having. Again, I told you, right, where and having classes are typically used to filter the data, but the situation in which they are used is slightly different. Where executes on the individual row level, whereas having executes on the aggregation level. Now, if I say having average of salary greater than 75,000. Now, if you have seen earlier, we have all these departments whose we just calculated their average salary, but having now filters those condition now those records to include only those departments whose average salary is greater than 75,000. Now, if I run this entire query, see, before we also got the HR in the output, but we could not see that HR department now in the output, and we only have 77,500 and 81,500. Now, again, to talk about the execution, it will start from class. As we don't have any joints and on, it will directly go to group by. After group by, it will not go to select. Instead, it will go to having, because that is the execution order, right? After the group by, it will have to go. It should go to the having class. After the having class, it will go to the select statement, and then it will output those columns present in the select. So in the select we have department, so in the output we also have the department. In the select we have the average of salary. Again, in the output also we have the average of salary. This is the it will this is typically happens similarly for other keywords present as well, but this is as a basic video. I'm not going to talk about all those details. I think I'm going to stop the recording until this point. If you have any question, please feel free to add those comments into the comment section of this video, and please subscribe to my channel. I will be posting more videos on databases and SQL and other technologies for the data analytics field. Thank you once again for watching. Have a great day.